Hi, my name's John and I'm an alcoholic. And I just want to talk today briefly about the living amends, an expression I hear a lot in the rooms. And it has me kind of scratching my head sometimes because, to my estimation, when I hear the expression used a lot, it's used by people who, not all the time, have not made amends or are not going to make amends to somebody or feel like the amends is the actual living amends. One of the benefits of being painstaking about this phase of our development, which is the ninth step, is that we will no longer regret the past and wish to shut the door on it. So I think conceptually, AA itself, in doing the work, puts you in a position where all of life is a living amends to people, whether you harmed them before or not. So I remember I had an ex-girlfriend I owed an amends to. She was coming into town, and we still talked, but I knew I owed her an amends. She was on my list of all people I had harmed. Part of my living amends and trying to be nicer is specifically to women in my life that I had relationships with, was involved with, was that I can no longer say no. I can no longer be the difficult asshole or the guy they're afraid to ask because I might be in one of those moods. So my default now is just to say yes to any reasonable request. And so we got together, and I knew I had to try and squeeze in that amends. And I realized that something that I didn't necessarily realize before, I would not put up with before because of my attitude, which is she talks a lot. And I remember sitting there listening to her in the car, go, wow, I didn't realize she talked this much. Before, I would always cut her off, interrupt in a sense to say, hey, okay, enough with this, or just give her something. I don't want to hear it right now. Just have a bad attitude overall. So I just kept listening. I didn't fight back. I didn't chime in with my opinion and straighten her out like I used to before. Anyway, as we're driving along, suddenly she goes, you know what? Why are you so nice to me? And I've never been asked that before. And I wasn't doing anything specifically nice. I was just simply sitting and listening and let her vent, and every now and then talk to her, answer a question, or ask her a question, a little more detail, what's going on or what happened. And I was basically listening to her. And she goes, why are you being so nice to me? So I used that opportunity. She opened the door. And when she asked that, I was able to take that response and lead it into my formal amends and apologize for past behavior, hold myself accountable, and open the door for her to say, here's some other things that happened. Just give her an opportunity to talk specifically about things that happened during our relationship. And I was able to make that direct amends one-on-one and couple that with simply the living amends, which is trying to behave and act better. If I had gone through all that and was just engaging in that living amends, and I didn't make the direct amends, I didn't go back in time, hold myself accountable, and apologize for specific behavior, and open the door for her to tell me other things I may have missed, or just have a discussion in general about our past and my behavior specifically, where I had harmed her. I would still regret the past. I think AA, the living amends, is step work, put ourselves in a position where we don't have to try and forget our past or forgive ourselves for behavior. The actual direct amends, I think, is what put me in a position anyway to not regret the past, to turn my past into an asset, and to be able to maybe tell the next guy, hey man, this is what I did with my ex-girlfriend and the behavior I engaged in, and how I was able to take corrective measures in general and then deal directly with the behavior, with the person I had subjected to. So I think the living amends on its own might not be enough, I'm not sure it's being painstaking about this phase of our development, being the 9th step. I'm not sure if all the promises, the 9 step promises, can come true based on living amends, because I think the living amends probably should happen by default. And it's a direct amends, the tough stuff, the things that, if you're like me, you're a little afraid to make, or a little nervous about how it's going to go. In this instance, she opened the door by giving me that question. It was like a softball. And I go, oh, here it is. That's what I was able to do in that instance. And I don't want to downplay or belittle the art or the act of the living amends. My thing is, let's not use the living amends as an excuse not to make the direct amends and to address the behavior from before and clear that matter up. Because I found that for me, just the living amends itself might not clear matters up for them. It does not give them the opportunity to say, hey, yeah, that did hurt. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the living amends coupled with the 9th step, making the direct amends. Have a good rest of your day.